When systems and sense lead to horrors and war, what is the natural response to it? Dadaists in the early 20th century said, go crazy. It's the middle of World War One, and the vibes are obviously not that great. Cities are getting bombed, information is restricted, public expression is censored, there's chaos and horrors all around. Those who can start fleeing their hometowns looking for safer places, and Switzerland, being a neutral territory at this point, is one of them. A few artists from countries like Romania, France, and Germany arrive here, exhausted, horrified, and furious all at the same time. They're safe for now, but nothing about this world makes sense to them anymore. The number of ongoing wars does not make sense, the amount of destruction does not make sense, and so they decide to create art that by definition must not make sense. The Dada art form originated in Zurich, Switzerland in 1916. But according to one of the founding artists, the beginning of Dada was not the beginning of art, but of disgust. And that's because this art form grew primarily as a response to the World War. Assuming the role of rebels within the art world, the Dadaists implied that if logic and traditional systems can lead to such death and destruction, then we reject logic and instead embrace the irrational and the absurd. We reject the idea that all art has to be meaningful and beautiful and instead embrace the power of art to shock and disrupt, to make people think for themselves. The nightclub Cabaret Voltaire became the center of this movement, a space to experiment with all kinds of art forms, reciting gibberish as poem, performing dances, sometimes with strange costumes, theater, photography, montage, all with the common idea of just nonsensical play to channel their inner frustration. But probably one of the most telling innovations of this movement was the concept of ready-mades, credited to Marcel Duchamp, who would often use mass-produced everyday items like a wheel or a shovel and even a urinal in one popular incident and present them as art, separating them from their daily use and once again shocking and disrupting any ideas of what art was supposed to look like. Looking back, the Dada art movement didn't last very long, but I don't think it was trying to. Today we can argue whether reciting gibberish poem can really impact the world for the better, or whether placing a urinal at an art show is really art, but I don't think this movement was trying to do or prove any of this. The sole purpose, it seems, was to be able to feel the frustration in the middle of manic destruction, to speak the truth, to not fool themselves and to not shut themselves down either, but to erupt in their truth, in their frustration, in their heartbreak, use both rage and humor to express what was happening right in front of them, to be silly, to not care, and to care deeply. Because that's the thing about the human need to express, isn't it? When it knocks at the door, we have very little choice but to allow it in and let it lead the way, just like the Dadaists did.